Yo, what's up?
Yeah, not too much. Just been chilling. How are you doing? Long time no see.
I know it's been a while. I'm
Yeah,
pretty freaking awesome. Just like making podcasts and stuff lately.
nice. It's a good way to pass quarantine.
Yeah, just like being creative and also like connecting with people. It just feels good to like have good conversation right now and to like build that like feeling in the atmosphere.
Oh
But
yeah, definitely.
how about you? How have you been in quarantine?
I've been good, trying to be productive, clean my room.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
Kristen
doing
cleaned her
things.
room, everyone.
I know, right? I've just threw out a 2017 calendar, so I'm just like, it's time.
2017.
Huh?
2017.
Yep, 2017 was on my wall, like right here, and I was like, oh, that's a little old. Have
Good
not
job.
changed it in a while. But yeah, it's awesome. And yeah, thank you for having me because yeah, it's so important to be able to like hang out and still like talk to people and basically feel close to people still, even though we're all in our houses to stay safe and everything.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, like I mean, this is pretty like go with the flow, like just the things that
Oh, yeah.
podcasts we've been making.
Oh, cool. That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so we can like talk about whatever you want, but I think it'd be cool to just like let the people know like how you and I know each other if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like we met in Cal Lutheran and stuff. We both played, I think it was in the orchestra, but it's like symphonic or the
Yeah, played
symphony,
the
orchestra
yeah,
symphony, playing upright bass and all that.
heck yeah. So if you guys know that big instrument that looks like a cello, but like probably like 3 or 4 times the size, Kristen and I played that in a symphony at college.
Yeah, that's a really good description.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people are like, wow, that's a big cello. So,
Yeah. Or is that a tuba?
oh
Like
yeah, that, yep, gone now. Oh man, it's fun.
so
But yeah,
like you're yeah,
oh, sorry, I was just gonna say it's been like forever because I think that was like in 2014, 2015.
that sounds about right. Like 5 years
Yeah,
ago, 6 years ago.
yeah, wow, dang, time
Yeah.
flies.
But we both grown up since then. So what have you been doing like lately, like after college?
Well, basically, after graduating, I been doing more creative things with like other than just playing bass and like a community orchestra. I've also been doing some more voiceover, trying to get more into
Yeah.
that. Yeah, thank you.
Heck yeah.
I've been doing more commercial voiceover, taking freelance projects and stuff, doing like basically regular commercial voiceover, a few IVR systems, and slowly tiptoeing my way into animation and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's where you like want to be at is like animation, like anime or like movies or what?
honestly all of it, but
Heck yeah.
definitely first animation wise, I am thinking more anime and stuff. I take classes at Bang Zoom Animation, and they have a really cool program with like learning how to do dubbing and Walla and stuff like that. So I'm trying to actually get into their queue for Walla and stuff like that, which is basically background for voiceover, where we do like conversations and kind of like create the background atmosphere and stuff like.
Have you ever been to Anime Expo?
Yes,
I heard-
definitely.
I don't know if you've seen this one, but there was a panel one time where they would just call people like from the audience to like record a voiceover off of like a new anime they were gonna release or something like that.
Oh
So
yeah.
they would record it live there, like just like it was pretty freaking cool. Like the way that you have to like time what the foreign lips are saying. Like
Oh yeah, and especially too, what's interesting as well from like learning more detailed stuff about that is actually with the English dub versus the Japanese dub as well. English is way more strict with following those lip flaps as well. So they'll change the script during the recording sometimes to like basically like add more words to be able and make the script, of course, still make sense and all, but match them as close as possible. While in Japan, at least, or from what I've learned, is it's a little there's more flexibility with it. But yeah,
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, for sure. Word
What kinds
speaking.
of yeah, making words with our mouths and putting it to cartoons. Like
Yep.
so,
Exactly. But
but
yeah, actually,
how'd you get into voice acting though? Like what about it is appealing to you?
it's actually it's funny. It's basically like I like the idea of the magic behind being able to create and develop characters through just your voice. Like I think acting in general is like awesome, of course, with like improv and on camera acting, but it's just cool to be able to add the textures and the feeling into just your voice alone, and also to have a wide variety and range of what you can do too, because there are people like my age that can play like 40, 50-year-old characters and stuff, or even like elderly, like wise wizard like characters too. And you virtually wouldn't be able to do that like on camera, or you can sound younger and do kid voices too and stuff. So it's like sky's the limit with like where you can go with it and stuff. So yeah, and that's been the thing I've always wanted to do for as long as I can remember. Yeah.
It's freaking awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I actually work for a lady that like it's her job to help people get into the film industry or like the entertainment industry.
Oh wow,
So
that's so cool.
yeah, yeah,
Nice. So does oh sorry, go ahead.
she has a bunch of like I don't know, like we're making videos right now about like how one becomes like a better voiceover actor or how one can like get into that. So that's like pretty freaking cool. Just like a weird synchronization in my life right now.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
feels
so
right.
cool. Yeah, it's like all of our paths come together and they just line up at some point. It's like, oh hey,
Yeah,
and have that like theme.
from bases to anime, like
Oh hey, I know, right? The progression, the true progression, right? That's so cool. But yeah, what's her name, by the way?
her name is Janet Urban.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
look her up. She's got some good stuff on YouTube. Her YouTube channel that like we upload to is called Friends in Film.
Okay,
So,
cool. Let me write that down.
yeah,
Friends
Friends
in
in
film.
yeah, Friends in Film and Janet Urban.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But yeah, it's awesome. So, like, how long have you guys been working together on YouTube?
Oh, probably like since November of last
Oh,
year.
cool.
So almost a whole year, kind of. A little less than a
Nice.
year. Yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. That's how like I'm able to be making these videos and stuff too. It's just like super inspirational. She's like a life coach, so just like editing and consuming her material just like kind of just fires me up and gets me in that mind state of like creating and producing and like putting things out there and stuff like that.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Heck
Sounds
yeah.
really cool. It's nice having that push in your life and all that, because it's like with the creative industry too, it's just always a lot of time you can be like this a little bit and just trying to make sure to stay focused, and also to keep being able to find different ways to be able to further yourself too as an artist and creator and everything. But yeah, because that's also to always been the thing with the arts is like, where do you go, right?
Yeah, it's like it's so beautiful because we can like write our own stories. Like we
Hmm.
can live our lives the way that we want to, and it's
Exactly.
yeah. The part of it is like having that focus, like being able to like figure out what you want to do and then like just how to do it. And it's easy because it's like a freelance business. Like you have
Hmm.
to like you get to make your own schedule, and sometimes it's easy to kind of like fall away from that. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing that you brought up, is having that focus.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, because it's just like, yeah, super important with all the scheduling and stuff, because yeah, it is easy to procrastinate, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Dang, I used to be such a good procrastinator.
But hey, at least you get it done, right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
no, I do. Like,
for sure. I mean, at least if this is motivation too, I think it was like Mozart or something once forgot to write an overture and he was like, ah, crap, and then just wrote the morning of.
yeah.
He just threw at the musicians, play.
Wow.
So
Everyone,
yeah.
if you have to be somebody, be Mozart.
Oh, that's so good. But yeah, I know you're mainly like asking more questions with like stuff going on, or at least what I've been up to, but like, how's your band doing, by the way, and
Oh
all
yeah.
that stuff?
Yeah, like it's been pretty funny. Like we've had to readjust with the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
So we were planning on doing a music video this month actually.
Hmm.
And that is just like being postponed. So
Mm.
lately we've been like having like these Zoom calls and making a couple podcasts. So that's what's going on right now. It's pretty cool. Like the other guys, we all have our own little like just like our own little like individual projects going on at the same time.
Oh, nice.
So
That's cool.
yeah. So that's what's happening right now. Like my homie James and his girlfriend started a band called Miss Not Ma'am, and they just
Oh,
released a
cool.
song. Yeah, Miss Not Ma'am. They're pretty cool. Some like it's like atmospheric, like indie, like pop rock.
Oh, nice. That sounds awesome. It's
Heck
cool you
yeah.
guys are still like making sure to stay in touch and like touch base and stay connected. That's one thing I
Yeah.
will say. That's nice with everything going on. At least we have technology.
I know, seriously. Okay, I got something interesting. Something interesting to think about.
Oh,
So, like, have you heard of the theory that we're in a simulation?
yeah.
So, doesn't it like just seem weird how I don't know, like you and I are talking on a screen, or
Mm-hmm.
how like we're filming this for YouTube? It's like, are we putting ourselves in that simulation?
It's like, oh man, that is a lot to think about. But yeah, I
I know.
couldn't think of it. And then all of a sudden it becomes like almost like what's it called with like the double layers becoming self-aware of the simulation that we're simulating.
Right. The awareness within. Did you ever watch Sword Art Online?
I didn't actually. One thing that's funny is with Sword Art Online is actually I think it was they were I think it was when they were coming out. Was it season 2? It was like 2016 or something. I actually did an on the spot audition with Bang Zoom Animation
Heck
for
yeah.
one of the characters, and it totally kicks me that I haven't watched it yet. It's like on my list, but yeah.
That's pretty
Oh
tight.
man.
What was the audition like?
It was cool. It was very nerve-wracking because it actually was my first time going in front of a whole bunch of people. It was more like at a stadium because it was AX, and it was actually the last time they were able to do open auditions and stuff at AX. But
Oh,
yeah, so definitely I was way more new, sweaty and nervous, but it was a
yeah.
good experience, and I learned a lot of good things.
Heck yeah. What what
But yeah,
what
I
kinds of
forgot.
stuff did you learn?
I learned definitely one, just gotta stay confident and do what you gotta do and stuff like that. Don't overthink, even though I am a master of overthinking. I think we all are. But and also too, there's just trust the director. Another big thing because basically they hold your hand through it and they're like, okay, do you want to try more or like this way or we can try with this and just keep on going, trust the director and also trust yourself to be able to trust them too. So yeah, a lot of trust.
Yeah. Trust the director and trust yourself. It's like it's important to understand that like the director has a certain kind of vision, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like we like allow ourselves to become part of the project and like that vision.
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. And it all comes together. It's just that's one thing that's cool with the arts, how it's also too in every medium too in general. It's just also collaborative too in that way.
Yeah. You like collaboration?
Definitely, yeah. It's cool being able to work together as a team, be able to create a vision of sorts, and yeah, it's fun. Also, too, it's way more fun to be able to talk to people about like what's going on with it too, because it's just sometimes you're like, yeah, this is a good idea, but maybe this, and then sometimes, or at least I personally get kind of into a cycle of overthinking it again, and I'm like, okay, I need to step away from this if I'm just like by myself too, you know. But yeah, how about you?
Oh yeah, I freaking love collaboration. It's like one of the I think one of my strengths and just something that really like gets me going, that like turns me on, is like
Mm-hmm.
seeing something that someone created. Like my homie Luis that I live with, like he'll make a beat or record a verse or something, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's just like I hear it and then I hear something that's not there that I know that I can like sweeten with it. Like I'd add my little spice to it, and it
Oh
just like
yeah,
and it like fits, and it's just like what the heck, like that's it just feels like magic when that happens, when that collaboration. And then it's also just freaking cool to connect with like other creative people, just like being in a band. Have you been in a band before?
yeah. Okay, actually, I realized I was going to have to bring this up. It's kind of funny.
Uh,
Is I've been mainly in the orchestra scene of things, but oddly enough, for a hot minute, I was actually in a metal band.
for a hot minute.
Yeah, a hot minute because it was great because like we were all planning on working together. We were trying to all coordinate together. It was like a group of 5 of us, and basically it didn't get to happen because our schedules didn't work, and one of them had just moved out of the city too. So it was like I was just like, oh, that could have been so cool if we were able to continue with that. And
Were you gonna
yeah,
be the singer?
No. I was gonna play electric bass for them and maybe a little bit of upright. So I was more sticking to the bass theme on that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. Working on singing, trying not to be shy.
uh, you're doing a pretty good job.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
you're welcome. Yeah, like about shyness, like I mean, I consider myself like really shy, and
Mm-hmm.
like doing something like this is like out of my comfort zone. But at the
Oh yeah.
same, it's like I have like such a like interesting like relationship with that kind of stuff. It's like
Yeah.
I'll feel like super shy like in a social setting, but then
Mm-hmm.
like when it's time to like perform or get on stage or record a video, it's just like it's something else. It's like a different, I don't know. I don't know if you
It's
relate to
like
that at
different
all.
circumstances where it's like you just tap into that thing like, all right, I got this. All right, let's do this.
Heck
Right?
yeah. Yeah,
That's cool.
that's a good way to put it.
Things. Or at least what I try to do, especially if I'm nervous, I just kind of just say to myself, well, it's time to risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah. Gotta grab on those biscuits.
Exactly. Fresh hot out of the oven. Biscuits.
Yeah. Mm.
But yeah.
You
Now we're
got me thinking about food. Like,
I know, right? Like one thing too I've realized also too with all this is it's just it all like comes together with food. Like, you know how you said with like adding your spice, like in the music too, it's just food is art, art is food. And talking about art creates talk of food, which makes us all hungry.
hungry for the success.
Exactly. Oh man, that's good.
I was gonna talking about collaboration. So
Hmm.
another like magical thing that happens when it's just a bunch of like creative minds together with
Hmm.
everyone wants the best for the project. So it's just like when I'm on stage with Plan Your Escape and like I feel like Josh's groove like playing the drums, and then I just see like James our singer just like doing the worm or like dancing or something. It's just, like
Nice.
it's just like what the heck is happening? Like this is so like this is not normal what we're doing, but it's so like high energy and it's so I don't know, it's
Mhm.
freaking awesome. That's what this
Yeah,
stuff that I live for.
that's awesome because yeah, it's just like creating that new level and layer of just indescribable excitement basically for being able to create something so new because also too as artists too we all individually just create and add new things too and stuff, but I do like that. Does he really do the worm on stage?
He did once. It's on YouTube. I'll try and find it and maybe put it in the comments.
Good. Awesome. Nice, kudos.
Yeah, it was pretty freaking funny because I think like the sound went out on his mic or it was like really quiet.
Hmm.
So then he just had to give a show like at one point like
Nice. The show must go on, right?
oh man.
That's
Okay.
good.
Is there anything you want to talk about in particular or you want to keep riffing back and forth?
I know the riffing is good because like it's cool that we're going to all of these different things. Do not think about like, oh yeah, the arts, and then we get to shyness. But I'm trying to
Yeah.
think what else is. I'm like good with our riffing and stuff. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, it's like it's pretty interesting how we can like tie everything back to music and food. Just like how
Hmm.
like I use the example of like riffing. It's like there's like a groove that was made already. And
Hmm.
then I don't know, like I think something that I realized about myself is that I love to catch grooves and then
Hmm.
just like ride them in every way possible. Like I'll
Nice.
like find, you know what I mean? Like find that movement, that
Hmm.
phrase, and then just like change it a little bit to see what happens. And then if that gets like tasty, then just kind of
Hmm.
what else happens with it. Or like maybe like I'll go explore too much and lose myself, but then like the groove is still like beating back there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's yeah.
It's cool. So it's like you always have your route to come back to, basically. Like there will be so many variants that are keep being like created and developed till they're almost new, but you can draw back to that original groove and find your way back.
Yeah.
That's
And then
awesome.
like I don't know, maybe you can equate to a groove like a certain part of your life and
Hmm.
then something happens where maybe like the song ends or like the bass line changes and then it's just like a whole new world we can create with it's
Yeah, definitely. That's so good because yeah, it's just melodies just always come around, go around, and music always keeps like changing and stuff like that. And yeah, that's cool with life metaphors, and of course with food again too, right? Life, food, creative metaphors.
Yeah, the tasty grooves.
Mhm.
What kind of music have you been listening to lately?
It's been more like, oddly enough, just maybe it's been classical music as before too, or sometimes oddly enough I'll get into like songs that are like that were originally memes too and stuff like that too. I know, it's like weird. I just
Maya he,
oh
Maya.
my god. Yeah. Or I
Oh
don't know,
man.
this is probably like relatively old too, but the other one too, like Coincidence. Do you know that one?
No, can you
You
sing
know, the
it?
one like, wow, you can really dance. You know that one?
Yeah.
It's just like that's an actual song. I'm just like, what?
Oh man. Thank you for
Yeah.
all this laughter.
Of course. I am glad to help provide for this laughter.
What's another
That's
meme
cool.
song? I think like
Uh,
the
Mr.
Pokemon
Sandman was,
song.
oh yeah, definitely. Pokemon's always like finds its way to be relevant again. Except I do think it's wild that they recasted the voice actress like recently within the last few years.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's not bad at all by any means. It was just
Yeah.
different because I like dropped out of watching Pokemon for a while until I was like hanging and like I think I was like babysitting for one of my friends or something, and their kid was watching Pokemon on Disney XD or something, and I was like, oh, Pokemon, that's still around, yes, as an anime, because like I just play the games. But I was listening to the voice of Ash, and I'm like, something's different.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh, that's cool though. But yeah, she does a really good job. I forgot her name, but yeah, she's an amazing voice actress, and she was actually interviewed on Variety recently too. So that was
Oh.
really cool to see how she does the dub. She also does the voice of Ash's mom as well. So like she'll be talking back and forth to herself basically in a scene,
Wow.
and so I'm just like, that's neat. That's awesome. I
Is
know,
that
right?
what
The most simple way. That's neat.
are you into that neat kind of stuff? Like,
Yeah.
just imagine you in a just in a room alone with a microphone talking to yourself like
Yeah, just quietly neat.
neat.
Just calling it a day.
Being your mom.
Yep, being my mom, talking to myself, and also too, of course, in a padded room, right?
Yeah.
Have all that sound coming in. Yeah, in my mini studio closet. Which I was gonna ask too, by the way, do you have like a soundproof like studio closet of sorts too when you're ever recording?
Oh, not quite. There's not like that. I use these panels sometimes.
Oh, cool.
Like yeah, I'll set them up in like a little like half booth and put a
Mm-hmm.
blanket over them.
Oh,
So like,
nice.
we'll do that kind of stuff. But lately, like not really. It's mostly just been like when inspiration strikes, we just hit
Mm-hmm.
record, and no matter even if it's just like on a phone or something like
Mm-hmm.
that, like just like catching the idea, like catching that magic is super important. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah, right. But my homie Luis, he's been like redoing our garage and basically like turning it into a studio.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, hopefully we can get something like that going in there. I'm pretty excited.
Nice. That's awesome. But it's cool that you're using like what you have now too, because honestly, like uh that's the thing with like voiceover too, at least, or with recording, is just working with the space you have, trying to make it like relatively as small as you can and just have it as quiet as possible. So like do what you gotta do. Like I think my first studio was actually the under part of my college dorm bed, actually, with just
Yeah.
blankets over and everything. So yeah.
Oh, that probably worked really well. Yeah, like beds are really good at like the acoustics at containing them.
Oh yeah, definitely. For sure.
Do you want
Yeah.
to? Yeah, like, I think it'd be so freaking tight to just have like everything that you need, like you know what I mean,
I
in a
know, right? Yeah,
creative
like
like
just it'd be so quiet. You just drop a pin or have like that kind of like I don't know, fancy microphones and stuff like that. But it's just
yeah.
cool. Do what you gotta do, and it all works out. One thing too, actually, that's interesting as well. Actually, tangenting wise with sound right now in studios. with the recent stuff that's been happening with COVID-19, there's actually more of a push too in the voiceover industry with having better home studios because they
Wow.
can't even gather actually these in animation mainly. They usually do in studio recording because they want to have the consistency in audio and stuff. So they have everyone work and record in the same like environment, same mics and everything. But with COVID-19, they can't really do that. So actually, I've at least been seeing on Instagram, they've been doing like almost Zoom room kind of meetings where they're all set up with their home studio microphones and just using whatever they have. And a lot of them already have booths, but like they've like been further modified to have higher quality and have more consistency, hopefully compared to like with the other voice actors as well. So it's like really cool how that's happening or like how it's adapting basically to the current situations.
Yeah, I think that's something that is just like us as like humans going through this struggle is causing us to adapt and grow in those certain ways. But that's cool. Like you're bringing awareness to, or like is bringing awareness for people to have like their own like professional setup, and how like that's like a freaking good idea. One thing that reminds me of is you know Snoop Dogg, the rapper.
Yeah.
It's something that like the advice that he gives young musicians
Hmm.
after they get like their first like record deal is to invest in a home studio. And
Oh
it's just
wow.
like, yeah, it's like just investing in yourself is and investing in your craft, because like that's what got you there. So if you just
Oh
make
yeah.
that better, then it'll grow exponentially.
Exactly. It's like another saying actually, I think this is from VO Buzz Weekly that they said too is like with investing also too is I know this is kind of tangenting almost, but it's like with having a treating something as a hobby versus as a business as well in general. If you like basically like hobbies just cost money, but like with treat as a business and it will pay you more than like you could ever imagine basically. So it's just always that reinvesting, further improving your quality with anything, further like investing more learning too, recording, all that stuff is just always super important.
Yeah, that's really key, is investing in your learning, like
Mhm.
investing in ourselves, because that's what's it's like if we invest in ourselves, even if it's like a material thing, that like experience is going to still be with us like for the rest of our lives.
Mhm.
That's something that, or like investing in like in your body, like working out or being healthy, investing in your mind, like you said, like learning and like doing certain classes and like getting certain books and like watching those like certain kinds of videos. It's like that's what molds this us as humans.
Absolutely, especially because society's just always ever evolving as well too. Like
Yeah.
it's always going somewhere further improving as well. And it's like you gotta like keep up with that too and stuff. And that's why it's all super important. And definitely mental health, physical health, spiritual health too, like all that's just super important as well because be able to help us stay sharp, focused, always learning and staying healthy too, of course.
Oh yeah. How do you improve your spiritual health?
Meditating definitely also too sometimes also to becoming aware too mentally when I'm like working if I become too overwhelmed just taking that time to be able to have mindfulness because your brain can just kind of easily go like this and kind of go crazy and it's just like being able to just spiritually like think inside yourself being able to just think about even nothing basically and just meditating and stuff and not letting things like bother you and just being able to just live in the present moment, being able to balance yourself basically and stuff. I know that was probably like moderately hippie.
Moderately.
But yeah,
No, that's yeah, that's super. I like the way you said it, like finding mindfulness, and that's a really like powerful thing to tap into. It dispels so many problems that we don't have to deal with. And
definitely.
yeah, like having that inner power, and it's like inside of all of us. Like it's something that's built in us as like humans or as like souls. We have this beautiful
Definitely.
ability.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always there. It's not going to go away. It's just all about being able to tap into it, you know?
What kinds of meditations do you do?
It's sometimes I listen to like different tones and stuff. like if it's a certain like chord or if it's just a note in general, or sometimes I just try to meditate in like basically the peacefulness of the silence as well and stuff. I try not to always like sometimes I set timers just to be able to have a concept of time and know what's going on with that. But if I do, usually it's like 5-10 minutes first, or sometimes too, if I really just need to take however long it takes, I just close my eyes and just see how long I until I feel like it's like right to be like, okay, now I can kind of go back to whatever I was doing before.
Yeah, when it feels right.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. How about you?
Oh my gosh, I had the most beautiful meditative experience earlier today.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was like I decided to walk outside and get some sun,
Mm-hmm.
and I like brought a little towel with me, and I just sat down under a really like nice tree that's starting to bear fruit, and I'm just like sitting there crisscross, just like feeling the warmth on my face and like on my chest and arms, and it was like whoa. And then my eyes were closed, but it's still like it was so colorful. It would go from like orange to like red to like white and then like blues. So it was it was awesome. It made me recall like where I used to live with my parents, because I would meditate outside all the time there. And I realized like I don't meditate outside as often. So it just felt good to like embrace spring and like feel that warmth of like the atmosphere. And it was a trip because I had the thought like, oh, it's spring right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember opening my eyes and I saw two little butterflies like right in front of my eye. And I was like, whoa, what the heck? That's really interesting. So it's just like it felt like some kind of like beautiful like meaning in front of me. It's like, oh yeah, like it's spring like in my head, and it's spring out here. There's these two little things like flying by.
Oh, that's so awesome. That's cool that you got to experience that. And also it's nice that you're able to like also connect it with your past as well too. So yeah, wow. That's definitely sounds awesome and spiritual. That's so cool.
It's so amazing. And then I decided to bring my guinea pig outside with me.
Oh, that's cute. What's your guinea pig's name?
Her name is S'mores because she's like
Oh,
black and white. Like
oh, that's so cute. How old?
I don't know. I think she's like 7.
Oh,
She's
wow,
a
that's good.
yeah. She's a little feisty lady. Like
That's good. Very important because a lot of times, or at least because actually I used to work at Petco and I used to always like
oh
work
yeah,
with and take care of the guinea pigs and stuff. A lot of times they can be like a little skittish and stuff. So it's nice when like guinea pigs can be a little feisty and they're just more like, hello, I am here and I am present.
yeah.
Like that's
Dang,
awesome.
she ate so much grass today. Like
Nice. Meeting her grades, I mean. Nice.
yeah. Do you have any pets?
I don't, unfortunately. I used to have two dogs that were both Labradoodles and stuff. Actually, because I'm actually on my desk, I think I have an old photo. Well, this is from like the ancient times, but this is Daisy and I when I think I was like 7 or so. It was around the time we had just gotten her. Can you see that okay there?
It's freaking adorable.
Thanks. But yeah, so she had unfortunately passed away by she was 12 years old, but she lived a full life. Definitely was spoiled. Very important.
What's her name?
Daisy.
Daisy. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't have the other foot or of my other dog, but we actually rescued Max and stuff when he was 7 or 8. He lived to be
Oh wow.
13. But yeah,
You
they're both
rescued
very great. Hmm?
you rescued a dog?
Yeah, we got him from Lab and Buddies originally, which I don't know why they named him this, but they named him Buffet, and I'm like, oh, why would you name your dog Buffet?
That's a confusing name.
I know, right? So yeah, I'm just like, can we just call him Max? And then that's my family's just renamed him Max, and I think that's a little better.
Cool. That's awesome. You guys rescued Max from a buffet or a life as a buffet. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's so good. But yeah, so now I just mainly love everyone else's fur babies,
Oh,
giving them
good.
all the pets.
Yeah, all the fur babies. I've been thinking about like I've always grown up with dogs. Like I've had dogs in
Hmm.
my life, but I kind of want to like try out a cat. Have you ever had a
Oh,
cat?
nice. I haven't had a cat because most of my family's allergic, but I have a lot of friends that have had cats. And actually, I don't know if this is a thing. Cat lovers in the comments and stuff, you can debate this too because I have met three, but this has been a 3 out of 3 statistic. But all of my friends, by coincidence, all had tuxedo cats, and they were all sweet and precious in their own special way. Like my friend Hannah had Pippa. She basically, whenever you go up to her, she likes to meow at you for attention. So she kind of like just like basically meowing screams. And then when you sit down, she just jumps in your lap and starts kneading your pants or laying on her back and stuff. And she basically rubs against you and just loves you. Zoe, another friend's tuxedo cat, she greets you with purring. So she's just like, "Hello, I love you." And I'm just like, "Oh, my heart." And then Kobe, he basically greeted you with meows and basically would attach to your leg, basically with like head rubs and stuff. So like 10 out of 10 tuxedo cats are amazing and all super sweet.
Yeah, my neighbor Malik, he has like a couple or actually a bunch of cats. And he has a tuxedo cat. I think his name is like Knight Rider or
Oh, that's a cool name.
that might not be it. Or like he had another one named Bandito,
Oh,
but I'm
nice.
trying to remember the knight one. It was knight something. It was like a knight, like a warrior, but like
Uh-huh.
night because like nighttime. Anyways.
Oh, that's good. We'll play on words there.
Yeah, I think so. So
Nice.
yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I want some of those like those kitty head rubs. Like
Oh yeah,
whenever
definitely. Very important. So cute. I've also seen it's funny with people having cats in quarantine, or at least a lot of times their cats are like, "Oh, what are you doing home, human? You're usually not here this much, right?"
wow.
So I have seen
Yeah.
that sometimes on the internet, at least with all people I know that have cats, they are actually just happy that their fur parents are there longer because that means more head pets and treats.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's awesome.
Had to move something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um yeah, like I feel like animals can see things that we don't.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like I think they can kind of like, or at least judge character, or at least with I don't know. Sometimes like animals like trust like certain people, or like yeah. Except sometimes I will say I've met Labradors that jump on everyone's laps, and I think that's precious too. Oh yeah, I also used to be a dog trainer, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that. You
Yeah,
train dogs?
it was very wow. Yeah, it feels like it's also been a forever because it was actually my freshman year of college when I got my first job ever, which is I used to work at Petco as a sales associate and dog trainer. Had
Oh.
adorable students.
You
I
mean
always learned it
the
was,
dogs?
huh?
You mean the dog? The dogs were your students, right?
Yeah, like it's funny
Oh.
though because it's more like the parents are technically, but I'm just like, oh, puppy pooples, they're adorable. But a lot of times too, though, honestly, like with dog training, it was more of teaching people how to dog and be able
Mm.
to learn and understand behaviors as well. And also having to emphasize always do your homework, please, because they will learn more there and stuff other than just being shown what's in class. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a yeah, practicing what is in like the training and like
I'll
implementing it at home. What's up?
basically it's a lot of patterns and basically positive reinforcement and stuff because you don't want your dog being stressed out. Also, you want to make sure that they know like from this command or like with this like gesture, it means this. Like sit would always be like if you put your hand up and stuff like that. So it's basically a lot of patterns and just helping them learn those things or learning routines like basically with being housebroken and stuff and not being inside. So it's like basically it's a lot of like structure and stuff and just making sure that they teach the same or like practice the same things as how it was taught just to have that consistency because especially when dogs are younger too it could like stress them out a lot easier too if there's too much inconsistency or they don't understand and stuff like that. But yeah,
Do you know how many dogs you've trained?
I don't know because I was only there for about a year total. I did I know at least like size of dogs wise and different kinds.
Uh-huh.
I've trained from like Chihuahuas to like Newfoundlands, which is basically like giant, floofy, like dark colored dogs. I don't know. Have you heard of Newfies by any chance?
Are they like tiny bears?
They kind of look like that, yeah. The shit
Yeah, I
was
think so.
adorable. The Newfie I trained was named Bubbles.
Bubbles, the what's it called? Newfie?
Uh, Newfoundland or
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland. I probably am not pronouncing that right, but yeah, it was
Newfoundland.
this big, floofy, like dark brown colored dog, very
Named
drooly.
Bubbles.
Yep,
Bubbles
she
with
was like 6 months old. It was so cute.
Drooly Bubbles.
But yeah, they were. Yeah, I'd probably say at least 30 dogs. I would say because like I was like newer at that end too, and it was yeah first job ever. I was 18, 19. So yeah, it was really cool. Learned a lot and stuff about like human animal relationships and also too with teaching people how to dog.
Yeah. How like what is something that like how would I dog? How would you teach me to dog?
Well, how to dog.
Yeah, because
But basically,
you said like recognizing patterns and stuff. So like what are some patterns to recognize?
like for example, like with their behaviors and what they do, like if they end up being like nervous or something, like
Hmm.
barking at certain things, or also too with like teaching them how to do things like this command always means sit, or this gesture like pointing down always means lay down and stuff like that. So it's always having that, and also too not like a, verbally reprimanding the dog as much too is another thing too, because like sometimes dogs can like shake a lot and be like nervous basically from too much like negative stimuli. So it's more of just redirecting them and just resetting if you're trying to teach them something.
Did you ever watch The Dog Whisperer?
Yes. Yeah. So it's very interesting. Actually, oddly enough, too, one of the dog trainers that I worked with for a little while, she actually was a trainer on Caesar Milan's ranch too, which
What?
was really cool. I was like,
Just a
dang.
ranch of dogs?
Huh?
Like a ranch of dogs?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about all of it, but it's like I don't know if it was like a dog training facility or something. But yeah, she actually worked with Caesar Milan, and I was like, dang. But yeah, she actually also too showed dogs too. So definitely, like I learned a lot from her being under her wing and stuff, and
Oh, cool.
super cool. I
Have
forgot
you
what dog breed she had too, but she had a very obscure like dog breed specific that she would show and bring to the store, and the dog was huge. Like I think if the dog were to stand up would be probably or like on their back legs would be about my height. And I'm
wow.
about 5'6", 5'7", depending on the convenience store. So he's pretty tall.
Have you ever been to a dog show?
I haven't, but I've seen them on TV. They're very interesting, and I always like seeing the ones though where like the dog ends up just like doing its own thing.
The little
Like they're
renegade.
yeah, basically, and I'm just like play by your own rules. That's awesome.
I went to a Borzoi dog show in Camarillo one time.
Oh wow, that's so cool. What was it like?
It was weird. Just like, did you ever you know how when the trainers look like their pets?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. They're called Bowsers. There's a lot of Bowsers.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
That was really cool. How long was the event, by the way, too?
I think it was a couple days,
Okay, I was about to
and
say because at least I've heard they're usually pretty long and stuff.
yeah, it was like a little village. Like,
Hmm.
like they
Yeah,
were
they
like,
camp out with their trailers outside and stuff.
and like a bunch of
Yeah.
little shops and like tents for people to buy things, the little like dog memorabilia.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost like a small like dog expo, like how we have like
Oh yeah.
AX or Comic Con. Yeah, they have their dog shows, dog expos. I think some of them are called that sometimes. But actually, I was going to ask too, did you see more stuff with like agility type things, or is it more just showing dogs too?
Oh yeah, it was more like showing the breed. It wasn't like them doing
Hmm.
like backflips into rings or anything like that.
Oh, okay, no hoops of fire.
I didn't see any. Not when I was there. Like
Okay, probably for the better. That's so cool. Was it just like was there a wide variety of breeds there, or
yeah,
just?
it was like mostly Borzois. But yeah, I
Hmm.
definitely remember like seeing a bunch of other ones too.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you the names of any of the breeds or anything.
Yeah, there's so many breeds out there, and a lot of them have very long names too. But yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
it's a very
you
interesting world.
Yeah, this like they I felt like I didn't belong there when I went.
I understand. I would feel the same way because like it's like they're all specially groomed a certain way, and they're all in like usually their fancy suits, and I'm just like I would never wear this around dogs because at least knowing like how my dogs were, especially since they had light hair, and if I wore anything black like concert dress or anything, they'd be like, "Ooh, you're wearing black? Quick, let me rub up against you and chase you around the house to get you all like covered in my hair." So yeah, it's also too, they're like dog shows are just super fancy.
Yeah, I when I went, I thought like I should dress as preppy as possible,
Hmm.
but I just it didn't work. Like it's still like I don't know. It was a fun time though.
That's
Uh
awesome.
yeah, I'm grateful for the experience.
That's super cool. I need to see the dog shows sometime because yeah, they're super interesting. And yeah, and actually another tangent, one of my friend's dogs actually was supposed to be a show dog, or I think agility maybe, but basically he just liked to stay at home.
Whoa.
So they ended up adopting him from the person that was showing dogs because she's like, well, I mean, I can't make him show, and he seems to really like the couch. So yeah, he became basically the perfect house dog.
Wow.
So yeah, it all works out, right?
I have a funny little story.
Hmm.
So I grew up with like two Pomeranians, Baby
Hmm.
and Fluffy.
Uh-huh.
And so like Baby was the runt of the litter.
Hmm.
So she was like half the size of a regular Pomeranian.
Hmm.
And
Oh.
so one time I think like my family was gonna go to like the mall or something.
Hmm.
And I'm just like chilling on the couch, like about to like fall asleep. And they're like, "Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "No, I'm gonna just kick it here." So they all leave, and Baby just like jumps up and like cuddles up next to me on my right side. And then I fall asleep and I wake up and she's like under me, like like between me and the couch. But like she crawled in there to like feel the warmth. And I was like,
Oh,
"Whoa."
that's so funny when dogs do that because it like doesn't sound like that would be comfortable, but they're just like, yep, this is the perfect spot.
Yeah.
That's so cute. Oh
Uh,
wow, I can't even imagine a tiny Pomeranian. They're already like really small too. They're like this big.
yeah, she looks like a long-haired chihuahua.
Oh wow.
And then the other one,
So,
Fluffy, is just like a ball of like fuzz, or
oh
she was.
nice.
I got another
Definitely
funny
look up.
story.
Mhm.
This one's kind of jacked up, but I think it's really awesome. So
Okay.
like, so Fluffy died,
Hmm.
and they like buried her in the backyard. And then
Hmm.
so one time, like my cousins came over, and like we're all like running around and stuff. And then the little one, Vinny, he's probably like 4, maybe 3,
Hmm.
and he's like, What's buried under there?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's Fluffy. Remember the dog?" And then he's like, "What? I want to see." And then it just made me so happy that he wanted to like watch the body, and it just put a smile on my face and put some warmth in my heart.
Oh, that's so good because it's like it's a macabre moment, but also it's more like it's nothing bad. It's just curiosity. It's like what? That's so good.
Yeah,
That's
dogs are a
cool.
trip.
Oh yeah, definitely. They all have their own personalities. They're all adorable. But yeah,
You,
good stuff. But yeah, I liked our progression. It's been music, art, dogs,
yeah.
and food. That's so cool.
Do you are you into like history at all?
Yeah, I definitely say so, especially one of my friends just added me to a Facebook group, which is Let's Pretend It's 1453 Internet, and it's a treat.
1453 internet.
Yep, it's very great because it's a lot of people going, I am flaunting my wealth. And it's someone's like holding a pineapple, or someone actually made like a full like a period style outfit out of like rolls of toilet paper and sanitizer as well.
Oh
Just like
no.
my wealth. It was so good. But yeah, do you like history?
Yeah, I was thinking about dogs, and just like how we've like molded them, or how we've bred them like over time,
Mhm.
and there's just like an interesting relationship. Like dogs give you like unconditional love usually.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also too for like even to ingrain almost into their genes with like what they used to do to also to help people and stuff, like with retrievers being able to go and get game as well. And actually this is going to be an interesting probably like short, I'll try and make it a short story tangent, but actually I learned specifically about the St. Charles Cavalier breed, which has a very interesting history actually, because that breed actually almost died out and stuff, because like it was a dog that was specifically designed to basically keep people warm in the old times and just be lap dogs, like
Cool.
straight up, no hunting, no like anything else, like just keeping like the wealthy people warm. And like for a little while the breeds wasn't like out in the public much because it was more of like a class kind of thing, and then people started seeing them in like figurines and stuff being like, hey, what's that breed and stuff. And then a historian at some point, I think it was like the early 20th century or something, I could be wrong, this is a little word of mouth also with internet as well, but like basically they try to find the different descendants of the St. Charles Cavalier breed and be able to rebreed them or to be able to increase the population and stuff. But yeah, if you don't know what those are too, they're the ones that are like they're the longer shaggy haired small like medium kind of dogs that have the like floppy ears and stuff, like Lady and the Tramp, that dog.
Oh, the St.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yeah, St. Charles Cavalier. And they're adorable, and they're dogs that are just meant to basically be spoiled and be like the ultimate house dogs.
Wow, that's really interesting. Like,
Yeah.
like this is your purpose, dog. Please,
Yes.
like, fulfill it. I don't know.
Yes, please. Give us love, keep us warm, and we will also love you, of course.
How did, how do you think dogs are able to like be so connected with humans? Is it because like we're so involved in what they are?
I would say so, definitely, because originally too with the domestication of dogs, like they came from wolves before too. When wolves went aside along humans, and then they just bred the traits that they liked the most and stuff, and had them more inclined to humans. And also, I would say also just general human interaction as well with like the dogs as a whole, basically further reinforces being able to have more positive interactions with them, I would say. And also too their dependency on us too, especially too, I would say, to an extent. But no, they do not just love us because we give them food. I argue that they do inherently still love us.
Wow.
But yeah, what do you think on that?
I'm not sure. I'm still just like wrapping my head around it.
You
I
know,
think
I
it's
probably said
cool.
like a whole bunch of information like way too fast. Sorry, am I talking too fast?
No, it's pretty awesome. It's just like me processing it. I'm just thinking too slow.
Oh no, you're good. It's like I'm just like I just ramble way too much, but
No, please.
yeah, they're
It's
just
awesome. I like the I like your thoughts. You're an interesting thinker and speaker. I mean, I guess that's
oh
why you're a voiceover artist. And
oh
also there's
thank
like
you.
there's like a leaf blower outside of my door. So it's also like it's a little
It's just
distracting, but it's all good. Yeah.
oh, I totally gotcha. I was just kind of like, all right, everyone outside, please just don't garden for like a second, please. It's actually at another Zoom call I had before. I think it was actually a meeting I had with, it was like a group of people. Just as soon as I started, the people outside were mowing their lawn.
Oh, good.
So for 99% of the call, until I was about to say some words, I had to stay on mute for the sake of the call.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. That's where I'm at right now, kind of. But
Okay, cool. So yeah, you know what's up.
hey, do you like SpongeBob?
Yeah, definitely. One thing actually, by the way, too, So sad. Steven Hillenburg had like passed away before. I was like, no.
What?
He
Who's
actually died
that?
on my birthday. Steven Hillenburg?
Yeah, who's
Oh,
that?
he's the creator of SpongeBob.
Whoa, he
He
died
actually
on your
was,
birthday?
yeah, like last year or no, 2 years ago, from a year and a half ago. But yeah, I was just like, no.
Dang.
But he was a marine biologist and stuff, as well as
Oh
like
yeah.
creating SpongeBob too, and I thought that was super cool.
I didn't know that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like a marine biologist would like create all these creatures.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, also too, it's been going on forever. It's been over 20 years now.
Dang. That's a trip
Wow,
to
yeah.
think about also.
Oh
Like
yeah.
my favorite episode is the one with the bubble bowl and like that song at the
Oh,
end.
that was
Sweet
so cool.
victory, yeah.
That's so good. But yeah, that one's a classic one. It's definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, and also I also like how just the show's been around for so long that it has every like possible scenario to be able to be a meme as well too.
Wow. That's a really interesting insight. So like I had a theory, and I think it's still like a very good theory, that
Mm-hmm.
if you want to make friends, especially at a place like Anime Expo,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't know anything about anime, you can still like use SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like SpongeBob is like the almost like the skeleton key.
Oh yeah, I would definitely argue that as well because yeah, just it's so well known, so finds its way to be relevant somehow, good or bad, I will say. Because sometimes like the
Yeah.
older seasons are a little like, wait a minute, what? But I would say it still has their like awesome moments too. But yeah, especially to old SpongeBob and just like starting to like sing anything or reference anything, like you'll probably get a whole crowd of people just to uniformly reference it with you.
I think like SpongeBob and probably like Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I am behind on the Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
I
me
just
too.
realized I have not seen as many of the Disney ones, or like when Disney took over the production and stuff. But yeah, which one is your favorite Star Wars movie or show?
Can I tell you my favorite Star Wars video game?
Sure, yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Nice.
It
What device was that one on?
it was on Xbox. I played it on Xbox.
Cool.
It's so
Or a
freaking
gaming
tight.
station? Why did I say device?
Yeah, it's
Gaming
the
station.
device. I
What
had a
technology do you use to access your games?
I have an Xbox device, or I had an Xbox. Like, yeah, so freaking tight. Like the decisions you make influence like the way your character looks and like proceeds through the story. Do you play like role playing games like Dungeons and Dragons or anything?
I haven't actually. Game wise, or at least it's been a while. I played D&D for a while and stuff with friends, and then we just all got so busy. We need to like continue our campaign, but that's like the most recent and stuff. But yeah, do
There's
you play those regularly?
no, but something that dang, I can't remember what they're called. There's like this YouTube channel of
Mhm.
voice actors that play Dungeons and Dragons together.
Oh yes, I know exactly what it. It's not game. It's gonna come at me in the middle of the night because basically, I Matthew Mercer is the
Yeah,
yeah.
Matthew Mercer. He's the DM.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's going to bother me. I will remember it.
Wait, you want to look it up, bro? I want to look it
Yeah.
up.
Low-key, high-key, like, all right, I am by like 3 different sets of technology right now. I have the means called.
Let's see who gets it first.
Critical Role. That's what it
Yeah,
is. That's right. All I do, I'm like, all right, come on, Google, Matthew Mercer, D&D. Where is it? Give it to me.
dude, that show is freaking awesome. It's so
Yeah.
amazing. It's so inspiring. Just like
Mhm.
the stories that they tell, and then just like all the wit is like next level.
It really is because it's just so much improv in there and just so many creative minds working on it too, and also 2 amazing actors. So it's just anything, in my opinion, at least anything you could hope for in a show. So it
Yeah,
is so awesome.
heck yeah. That's
Yeah.
a It was super inspiring to I wanted to like practice my storytelling. So I would have
Hmm.
that on repeat just so I could like absorb the greatness, like just get it in my
Definitely.
ear.
That's awesome. Especially too, like, or at least I've learned a big thing with that is actually improv really helps because
Yeah.
it's just going with the flow and creating these stories and stuff. And especially too with D&D, I would say it's on like a whole new level too, because there's just so many different layers of coming up with it, sometimes prepared, usually not, and they just go with it and stuff. And
Yeah. Did you do improv?
I did. I'm still in the process of like, I'm always like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's a part of improv because like people will be like, yeah, I've done this for 10 years. I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. I'm like, yeah, so cool. But yeah, I actually took improv classes at Cal Lutheran and
Oh,
stuff.
what kinds of stuff would you do? Like what is
Like a lot of exercises for like yes ands and basically like uh oh my gosh, it's blanking me on the name. Sorry, Cal Lutheran.
oh no.
Their name's last name was like Fredrickson or Frederick, but the teacher basically would go through like each day and teach us a few different principles of improv and stuff, and then we would be incorporating that into our scenes and stuff like that. So it was really cool to just go with it. Like we'd be given like a category or topic. Like it'd be okay. Our topics we're going to be working with today are movies or types of movies, and or one of them, which was a tricky one, but it was great to start with, was we were in a kung fu action movie and stuff like that, and we went through the trope part of like one of the us was the chosen one and had to defeat the evil something, and it was just like all come up with, it was all like came up with on the spot, and we were just going with the group just like seeing where it's gonna go. So it was all really fun. Other great one was when we did Monty Python. That was pretty awesome for like, I think it was movie genre or something.
So you would like improv with Monty Python like you were in the movie or what?
Like basically it was, we had to, oh yeah, while going through the scene we had to think of what cliches go with this genre or this category, or like yeah, the specific style. Like I think one of it was like an absurd quest. We had
An
to
absurd
like,
quest.
yeah, absurd, just something. I think at some point we referenced like seeking the grail, and basically if we hit one of those like tropes and stuff, or like what they were looking for is like things in the scene, the audience would applaud us, being like, yep, you got the thing. So it was like always fun games like that. And there's also like improv sports as well, which are super cool. I didn't get to that level, but it's like super awesome where people basically creatively in like categories like basically play games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so it makes such a big difference when there's that level of improv in like D&D when you're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Like I think that's another spot where like magic comes out. It's just like, whoa, like you can't like this, like you can't plan this. Like this is just there's like a definite like electricity in or like chemistry on that improvisation.
Definitely, especially also too when portraying your character as well too. So that's
Yeah.
always super fun.
Oh yeah, like giving it, yeah, that's like how you do with the voice acting, like you give it its own like its own character.
Exactly, yeah. And be able to help go along with it in the story and trust the lead of the master and going along with all this and working
Yeah.
together. But yeah. Have you ever played D&D with friends before?
Yeah. It's
Oh.
yeah, my friend Grace, she had like a Dungeons and Dragons night at her place and it was really tight. Like I think I only knew like two people there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was like it was cool. You just kind of like immerse yourself in this world. And it took me a little while to like warm up to the like the fantasy, like really like see it
Mm-hmm.
and like act in it. And then another time, my friend Zach, my friends Zach's would like play, and that was pretty cool too. I just remember that one, but I've only done it like 3 times or so.
Nice. Well, that's so cool, especially because it's a fun world to get into, especially because it can be hard because it's imagination with basically imagination with math. So it's like another kind of world to immerse yourself in. So it's cool. And also too, figuring out which dice does what, which means
Oh
I've
yeah.
not played enough D&D yet.
I got my friend a little for his birthday. I got like a dungeon a dice mug. I think it was like a 20-sided dice mug. It was
Oh,
pretty cool, or like
nice.
a cookie jar. But yeah, that's funny.
That's
Like,
awesome. That's
um,
so good.
I want to keep talking about that. What was it called again? The Critical Role.
Yeah, Critical Role. Yep. It's yeah, I need to catch up more on it, but like yeah, it's at least it's now like I mean, the times now is to do it, right? But yeah,
Yeah, I
also I
guess
like
so.
how
Yeah.
they animated too. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Now keep going. You the way they animated it.
Yeah, it's like cool that I think it's they take the audio recordings from like the sessions and stuff, and then they animate it. I haven't seen all of them yet, but like yeah, it's pretty cool how they like do that and everything too. So I mean, sometimes animation does work that way. Sometimes it's the opposite, but like it's cool how they kind of ended up doing that. And it's like it's creating its own show in and of itself more than just also to seeing them play it as well. So
Wow, yeah, that's an interesting insight. Are you like into animation too? Like, do you draw and like put together animations?
I don't. I cannot say that I'm very good at drawing. I can draw stick figures, but actually I have friends that make comics and uh, did animation and stuff. So like that's cool. I do more of the acting side only.
Yeah,
But yeah, do you know any animators?
yeah, yeah. I got like a few artist friends, and yeah, it's so interesting. Just like being so visual. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think they see things the way like things should move in a
Mm-hmm.
really different way than like how I like process things.
Oh
Cause
yeah, definitely. Because they think about on even like an anatomy level. Like a lot of times, like animation students take like human anatomy to know like how the joints move and what the fluid movement would be and stuff. Because even in like still images, they have to think about what action is about to be executed, how it's done, like ergonomically speaking, and it's really cool, especially like capturing all those details. And also too,
yeah,
consistency of style and theme also too is always really interesting with that too, because you can play with it sometimes too, depending on also how cartoony or how realistic it is.
yeah, the consistency of style and theme.
Hmm. For sure. All that good stuff.
Yeah, that's dang, I think there's this anime called like I Married a Mermaid or something like that.
I think I've heard of that.
And it was so freaking weird, like because it was kind of it's like it's real, like it's
Mm-hmm.
like believable to a certain point, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
just just like the most interesting like scenarios happening that only like just like one like interesting thing like per episode, like a very like
Mm-hmm.
outlandish, like I don't know, like someone would grow to like the size of a superhuman, and that like
Mm-hmm.
that never happened before, and it's just like yeah, it's like that was the theme. It was just kind of like absurd like things kind of sprinkled
Mm-hmm.
into the reality.
That's so cool. It's like playing with the rules of yeah, that reality to be able to spend and stretch it and be able to like create cool, absurd things, but also still follows under the logic of the world itself.
Yeah, you're good at like rewording my thoughts.
I know. No, I just need to be more creative with my own.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like it's really cool. They can do with all world building and lore and stuff, and
Yeah, I love when the
also
lore
see
is
where you.
thick.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I said I love when the lore is thick. Like,
Oh
did you ever
yeah.
did you ever play Dark Souls?
I haven't. That's another one. I know a lot about it where I'm like, oh yeah, I could have definitely been like playing it, but I didn't.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
has like super thick lore. But what were you gonna say?
Uh, what was I saying? Oh, but I was just gonna say too, also looking at like with animation too and where it's gone also because like animation's been like technically it's been around for a long time, but it's really almost say like over 100 years or so. Like even with like silent animation too, and then going into like color, how it came from like with the starting with like vaudeville and then like all that stuff too with like voiceover and how it ties into animation to be able to have non-silent like shorts and stuff like that too. And now there's just 2D digital everything. Like the progression of it too is also really cool.
Yeah, do you know where the first like animation came from or who made it?
I'm trying to think, because like it's already originated so many different areas.
I know like one of the first movies, it was like a rocket to the moon or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think it was like it wasn't the Lumiere brothers, but it was one of those from like the very early 1900s and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think Snow White was one of the first animated movies.
yeah, it was like a first feature colored animated film and stuff. So like that was pretty cool. But one thing too, actually, technically, is even earlier than Disney was the Fleischer Brothers from
The
the
what?
East Coast, which is interesting
The
and stuff. Which
Fleischer
is wild.
brothers?
Yeah, Fleischer. It's I forgot what their names are, but it was two brothers that created a studio on the East Coast. And what's really wild actually is they beat Disney to it, but Disney was so good with marketing that like in the West Coast, like it was assumed that Walt Disney was first basically before them, even though they came out with shorts. Or actually I think Walt Disney modified their the technology they used for like animation with like taking the still pictures or something on like it's like those multi-layered kind of like forgot what they're called, but it's like basically like it's kind of like an animation board of such where they like would put the backgrounds on and then the characters take a picture and then they would like move it ever so slightly to be able to continue with the animations and stuff. He like modified that and like kind of made it his own too. But yeah, it was like a race for a while on which studio was gonna win out. But yeah, ultimately Disney won that one. But the Fleischer Studio stayed around still for a while though. I think it
That's
was
really
still like
interesting.
yeah,
Have
very
you seen their cartoons, the Fleischer brothers? Fleischer
yeah,
Studio.
actually, I believe they were the ones that actually created Betty Boop. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, actually, Betty Boop was like, I think she was like a side character or something from, I think it was Bimbo the dog, and then basically Betty Boop became actually more popular and stuff. They went more with that character, but yeah, it's wild, especially too with how contrasting the styles were as well. Because actually, if you look at Fleischer Studio animations, those are more macabre, more dark. Like they have like more darker themes and stuff. Like actually, one of them actually has like their character like I think going to like the pits of hell of some kind or like having a dream. I think it actually was a Betty Boop cartoon on that one. But of course, Disney had theirs as well. But it was more of like Disney tried to go for more of the whimsical for the most part and stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
definitely very contrasting to like the Fleischer Studio style.
That's really that's a good comparison. The whimsical with the macabre.
Thank you.
I like that that's a just a good distinction that you're like helping me see.
Oh,
Like
thank you.
this
Because yeah,
like
it's like kind of cool because also too it kind of reflected the times as well, or like what things were going on as well. Because like how things kind of basically the world affects us, it comes out in art as well, which is how like stuff comes or becomes of the period basically
yeah,
and stuff.
the culture influences
Hmm.
the art.
Definitely.
How did they like what do you mean by that though? Like what did Betty Boop do or Disney do?
Like with like where they went wise or
Yeah, like
like
yeah.
I know, but basically like Disney went more into like the fluid animation, lighthearted, like you know what they went to a lot of more like fantastical, like Snow White, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, like those like earlier, like more whimsical animation kind of things.
So is that
Except
like a reflection of what was going on in society somehow?
like
Like did it need the fantasy?
sometimes like actually yeah, especially I think it was like with Alice in Wonderland was around the time of World War II had just ended or so. But like sometimes like people it's they need an escape kind of thing. So like that's kind of interesting how like sometimes it's a contrast to what was happening with people did not want to have to think about the war or something intense that's going on. So they wanted to have more lighthearted, more humorous stuff to kind of like be able to not have to think about it. Or actually for a time period during World War II where they had to like hold off on some like projects. Disney actually created some like, it's like mind blowing now, but they did like propaganda for World War II and stuff. It's like that's also interesting, but they made it more like definitely, of course, propaganda wise, but like they made it in their Disney style of like a bit of whimsy with it or fantastical ideas with it that were still promoting the agenda. So like it's always interesting with that.
I have a interesting story that I read about Walt Disney. He
Mm-hmm.
went to a carnival where there was a merry-go-round,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he had his daughter with him.
Mm-hmm.
And so like when they went to go ride it, or from afar, he saw it, and it was so like enchanting how it's just
Mm-hmm.
like all the lights and the animals and the movement and the music.
Mm-hmm.
So then, but he got closer and he saw that only the outside animals were moving up and down. The ones inside were just like they didn't move at all. And
Mm-hmm.
how like some of like the paint was chipped, and how just like there was a lot of like imperfections that afar
Mm-hmm.
you couldn't see, but once you got close to it, it started to like all the magic was lost. So then
Mm-hmm.
he that's what have inspired him to have something where like the illusion like never ends, or like the magic is always like on like every level, from like the close up to like the far away. And so that's what like inspired like Disneyland.
Oh wow, that's so cool. And also it makes a lot of sense, especially because like if you go into each land, like it feels like it's its own world there too. Especially like have you been to I know it's not just called like the Star Wars line. I forgot what it's called right now. My brain turned off. But you know what I'm talking about with like Star Wars
No,
Land?
I think so, yeah, but I haven't been there now.
Oh, okay,
Last
gotcha.
time
But
I
it's
went
like
to Disneyland was probably like, I don't know, like over like 15 years ago.
oh man, you gotta go because like it's funny because I like didn't go for a while, like 5, 10 years or so, but like basically like from what I remember as like a kid to when like my friends decided impulsively, we were like, yeah, let's go to Disneyland. Like before it was like crazy expensive, or like there was like some kind of discount going on. Like technology had just improved so much that was like crazy and mind blowing. But like when you go to the new land that they created with Star Wars theming and stuff, like you wouldn't expect that you like came out of like I think it was like Adventureland or something or Critter Country. Like basically, it's like you hit to a point where you're like, wait a minute, where am I now? Because like they completely changed the music, the atmosphere, even the plants around and everything. So it's like completely different. You don't notice when that transition was and stuff. And
Yeah. Wow.
yeah,
That's
it's
something.
amazing.
Yeah, when you don't notice the transition, when it's
Mm-hmm.
all like it's like blended perfectly.
Exactly. And that definitely goes back to like with the carousel thing where basically if you even looked at it under a microscope, like it's so hard to see like the detail or like the changes and stuff because of how thorough the planning was or basically yeah, the quality of what's being created and stuff. It's like yeah.
I love when that happens in music, when
Mm-hmm.
like we're playing a song on stage and then we're gonna go into the next song,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just like we know what to do because we've been
Mm-hmm.
like playing so long with each other. And it's pretty awesome, like when the that's
Mm-hmm.
awesome that the like the magic is in there too. The carousel
Exactly.
magic.
Like sure, that's awesome. So it's kind of like you guys are able to just kind of like feel what to do. Like, do you guys ever like create any like transitions on the spot, or is it more just rehearsed, but you guys just like know what to do or when to check tuning and stuff?
The so I play for the worship band at church,
Mm-hmm.
and we have like in-ear monitors while we're on stage.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so the Fern, who's on the keys, he's the one that's leading the songs,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks into the mic to tell us like when we're gonna change. So he actually says like, okay, we're gonna go like C, E, G, or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's like but it's pretty cool. Like there's like a lot going on, but then like
Mm-hmm.
the final product is just like whoa, like that was like seamless. Like that was really
Yeah.
like, it was like a beautiful like balance of like concentration, but also
Hmm.
like the improvisation. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like having a straight, like a solid structure, but being able to have a vibe and a groove with it, right? And it
yeah,
kind of comes together.
heck yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. That is so cool. But yeah, what church do you play at?
Oh, we're called City View Worship over here in Oxnard.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I actually pulled out the bass for the last couple services because we've been like streaming from the pastor's house. So
Oh,
we do like, we've been doing like acoustic sets, and
oh, nice.
yeah. So yeah, that's been pretty awesome.
Oh, that's super cool. Dang. This too, it's amazing that because like I realized like yeah, there's a lot of churches doing their live streams now and stuff to be able to prevent having to do the large group kind of thing and going
Yeah.
against the orders. Like, do you ever notice if it's like harder, like production wise, like doing and like kind of like a live concert at just like one specific place?
Oh yeah, there's like a lot of variables, a lot of factors. Like you want to have like good lighting, you want to
Mm-hmm.
have like good sound.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely. Like if you, I mean, it just, if you put like effort into it, then like it'll show. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like, I could tell like some of the other guys were like stressed about just like getting the stream right and like
Mm-hmm.
making sure like everything was gonna be like cohesive. But
Oh yeah.
I mean, it all like worked out like incredible.
That's
So
so cool.
yeah.
No,
Yeah. Do you go to church?
I have not in a little while. I know I should. But yeah, when I did go to church though, I went to Christ Lutheran Church and stuff out in Santa Clarita. It's
Cool.
like a cool small Lutheran church, and I wasn't in like the worship group band. I did more like the classical part where like in the earlier services, I would play with the organ, doing like hymns and stuff on
Oh,
bass, and
cool.
it was cool. It was like it was a smaller, like less techy group. It was like a very close, small knit group where we had like an organ player, bassist, trumpet player, and then sometimes like a clarinet player. Occasionally like a few more strings, but it was just more of whoever showed up kind of thing. But like it was like kind of cool doing that. But yeah,
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So
thanks.
do you have like a spiritual connection to music?
Yeah, definitely. Because like it's like you can kind of feel like where things are like right and stuff with it. However, one thing I will say though is I need to not be as strict though with it, because with having more of a classical background, a lot of times it's like, okay, these are the notes. They're supposed to play all together. Like for example, like, it's like with playing Mozart or like Beethoven. It's like you gotta play all the notes that are on there and how they are, because that's how it's meant to be together. So it's like it can be hard sometimes having a connection with that, but like it's still beautiful in its own way, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. It's like,
Cool.
it's that huge, like that vision that Mozart or Beethoven or Brahms created, and
Mm-hmm.
it's it's just all, it's like we're playing all the little paint strokes on his canvas.
Exactly. Yeah, which is really cool. Or also too, actually, one thing too, actually, speaking with like how we're talking about like history and stuff, and actually with music and everything and art. One thing that's interesting as well as like learning, or at least with what I've learned with some classical pieces too, is a lot of them are historically significant in some way. Like
Yeah.
actually with, I think it was with Beethoven, because by the way too, my source I've learned with all this is my amazing bass teacher, Jay Rubottom. He's really cool. He has a master's degree from like Cal Arts and stuff. And like, he always has just so much knowledge on all of the pieces we're playing. Anyway,
Wow.
plug for Jay.
Yeah, shouts out Jay.
But like, it's just like super cool that I think we were playing Beethoven's third, I think it was. But what was interesting with it is basically it was like the anarchy of that time playing that piece, because like the way he
Wow.
constructed it was intentionally against societal norms. And
Oh,
also the big thing with Beethoven too is like he was the first like classical musician to not like basically kiss ass to the aristocrats basically, and uh making music for them because they're paying him. Like he made music on his own basically and played what he wanted because that was what he wanted to do. So it's like basically it's like what all modern musicians like to do and stuff basically with being able to create their own stuff and get it out there basically. But yeah, he and especially like I think it was like the fourth or no, the third movement where it's usually the waltz. It was actually like double time fast and stuff like that. Like he would turn things up on its head or have a melody be in the background of the piece basically, and just like throughout the movement it'd start coming up like, oh yeah, by the way, those few notes, yeah, they were the melody the whole time. And stuff like that. So it's basically things people were like actually offended by at that time too.
He was like the punk for
Yeah.
like rock and roll.
For his time exactly, which is so interesting because like you would never think about that in modern day. Like I'm like, oh yes, that sounds very classical and fancy, and yeah, like what about it? And back then they'd be like, blasphemy, the French horn player came in at the wrong time at this part, and he's like, oh no no no, that was correct, and that's exactly what I wrote. They did it right.
Wow.
So yeah, that's
Oh
always very interesting with inserting classical music history, but like it's
yeah.
kind of like cool how yeah it echoes from the past to like going to the future and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really freaking interesting how there's like the history and the culture with each piece, and it like
Hmm.
inspires the sound, and it has a certain kind of it just has a certain kind of like mood because of that.
Definitely, yeah. And also too, sometimes it's fun how like with learning about these pieces and stuff, how like there were rules in music, and then the composer was like, "Oh, rules, what are those?" And then basically by that time too, then they'd be like, "Okay, wait, scratch that. Okay, well, I guess we can do that. So I guess that's a new rule now that we have for music, I guess."
Right.
So it's like, yeah, so it always contributed to the further evolution of it and stuff.
When you break rules, you create more. Like you.
Exactly. Sometimes good, sometimes maybe not as good, but they're still there. Is that good?
Yeah, like what's like Debussy playing parallel fifths everywhere. It's just
Oh
like
yeah.
but what are your you said you were playing Beethoven's third?
Yeah, that was at I think it was fall semester 20. I think I actually know it might have been last year. I'm trying to remember now, but like I played it in the Santa Clarita Philharmonic, which is just a small community orchestra group and stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, it was cool. Definitely, it was a reach kind of thing. We were very surprised that the director picked that, but like it was very cool. It all worked out, and we all came together and we sweated all the way through it. But we did it. We got it done.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Why did you bring that up again?
It was talking about with like I think it was the evolution of like how music is of like a reflection of the time and stuff, I think.
Oh,
And
okay.
we had gone from animation talking about with music, especially because they're also very interrelated and stuff.
Yeah,
But
animation and
yeah,
music.
yeah,
That's a
they bleed. Sorry, go ahead.
okay, so the an example of like culture influencing music
Mm-hmm.
is Bartok. You know Bartok?
Yeah.
He's like, oh man, I can't remember where he's from, but he collected. Oh, he's from Hungary, I think, and he
Mm-hmm.
collected like Hungarian folk songs on one of the first recording devices invented. So
Oh
he would,
wow.
yeah, he would go to like these super like remote places and
Mm-hmm.
capture the sounds of their people, like of the small villages and like the rural history and culture of Hungary, and that
Oh,
like influenced like his particular style. Like Bartok's like he has a lot of like interesting like atonal things, so
oh,
it's kind of like I don't know, it's an interesting color to mix like folk songs with like atonality. It's
oh
another
yeah.
world.
Yeah, that's so cool, especially because yeah, it's another one of those huge culture things too, with how there's so many different sounds out there and how when you add something else to it, like just create something new and stuff. Like that's awesome.
So when you watch like a animation,
Hmm.
are you how tuned into are you to the music? Like do you like do you kind of like try and figure out the composition or like the arrangement of things when you hear them?
Sometimes, yeah, like I like to listen for to like what themes they have in the music, and also to how it's interrelated to the animation that's going on, like the scene itself. Also, too, I listen to, as, or at least hope this makes sense, like the musicality of also how the voice actors portraying their character as well too.
Wait, say that again.
Is
The
uh
musicality.
like, yeah, of the voice actor, like how they're portraying their character, because at least I've heard people talk about this, and I kind of see this too, is basically when voice acting, like there's always highs and lows with like where the character goes and stuff, and how their pattern of speech is and how they say things and stuff. So it's like that in and of itself is like kind of like music basically, which is why too a lot of voice actors are already or have been before like musicians, like whether it's singing, instrumental and stuff, like they have some kind of musical technical background.
That's really like powerful. That like just how beneficial music is and how it
Hmm.
can improve something like voice acting or like pretty much like anywhere. But
Definitely.
yeah, that's really that's a cool point that you brought up.
Well, thank
A lot of
you.
a lot of voice actors are singers.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, and they all had their cool bands, like Kari Walgren is a part of a rock group called Slaughter, or
What?
yeah, I know it's like a tangent too, but like yeah, Slaughter, I was like following them recently. They're really cool. Like yeah, I don't know if you've heard of her before, but like she's just been in so much animation before, and I was just like listening to their group recently, but they're all amazing singers. It's this all girl woman group of like rock musicians and stuff, and
I'm gonna
they
look them
play
up real
different
quick.
venues. Yeah,
Slaughter.
yeah. I think it's Slaughther. So Slaughter.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely check them out on Instagram. They're super cool.
okay. Cool.
Yeah, I know, right? Andrew, right there, obscure things, but at least I think it's like super cool to like follow their groups and stuff, or like learn about them too beyond voiceover too, because they
Yeah.
always put their art out in so many different ways too.
Do you feel like you do that?
With what I'm doing and stuff.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just like creativity in all these little areas, kind of just like I don't know, like a tree with a bunch of different little fruits.
definitely, especially because like honestly, a lot of it I've gained like more inspiration to go into different genres as well. Because I think it's because I kind of started out on violin, but like I stuck a lot so much to like classical music, so like that. But also too, I will say like most of the people in classical music have been gone for like 200 years. So like we just have what history says. But like what's cool though is learning about more about like modern day genres and stuff, and also to how it like evolves and stuff, and just kind of inspires me to like learn more about different genres, like how it's all how basically more than just like how to play it, but also to how to be able to feel that groove and be able to like further improve, like basically bending and stretching as an artist, even if sometimes you may be nervous, but like I can, especially because also at least I overthink a lot, like it gives more inspiration to be able to see where else I can go and what else I can do to learn. And ultimately it comes back to like voiceover for me, at least because I can bend and stretch and learn all those different things and help it improve my performance and stuff. I
Did
know that
you
was a long explanation. Does that make sense at least?
No, yeah. Did you do any sports or anything growing up?
Yes. I did for the longest time. I did martial arts, which is cool.
Yeah. That's like what I was like going like getting to. It just seems like it's like a martial art to you, like a discipline that
Hmm.
it's like a skill that you can like always be improving and always like tightening up and always like learning like new techniques and yeah, so that's cool.
Exactly. It's also that you've like integrated that martial arts metaphor, because yeah, it's just really cool to learn like different forms, different like tools, also to self-discipline, personal improvement and
Oh
growth
yeah.
and development. I still know my student creeds.
What's that?
It's basically like it was these codes to like basically like live by, to basically be the best person you can be. Like the first one is, I will develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that could reduce my mental growth or physical health, which is
Yeah.
profound in and of itself, because it's just basically I would like to live my life to be as healthy and just be able to further develop as a person at all times
That's freaking
and stuff.
incredible.
Huh?
So that's the first one.
Yeah, the first one. I know, right? It's crazy. It's one of three.
Yeah. What's this?
But
What are the other two?
the second one is I will develop self discipline in order to bring out the best of myself and others. So that's another cool one. And then the long one, the third one is I will use what I learn in class constructively and defensively to help myself and others and never be abusive or offensive.
Wow. Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah.
Kristen, I'm so happy right now. It's just like this is like music to my ears and like honey to my tongue, what's like
Oh,
coming out of your mouth.
awesome. I'm so glad because yeah, it's the coolest thing, which is why I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna learn this, just know it forever, basically, because it's just so important. It's just super awesome.
Okay, so I believe that English is like a spelling language. Like there's so much power in the words that we say and that we think. And just like the fact that you have this like wired in you is freaking incredible and so freaking powerful. Oh my goodness. Like that's like, those are like powerful affirmations that you tell yourself and you've told yourself throughout your life. And that's like really good. Like like
Oh,
you
thank
like
you.
not everybody thinks this way. And it's so important to do. Like anybody listening, like tell yourself these things and make sure that like you understand the power of the words that you use. Like you could as easily like have something negative programmed in you without even realizing. So it's important to make the effort to put in positive ones. Do you mind like repeating those three again, please?
Oh yeah, absolutely, no problem. I will develop myself in a positive manner and avoid anything that could reduce my mental growth or physical health. I will develop self discipline in order to bring out the best in myself and others. And I will use what I learn in class constructively and defensively to help myself and others and never be abusive or offensive.
Wow.
It's just, they're very powerful. It's three sentences and it just has all the power in it with it.
Do you
So
like
yeah,
how do they make you feel? Like do you feel different saying them?
it's basically abstractly, I just feel so much positivity. Basically, like I'm just like, yep, it feels good. It feels good in here, basically, when being able to say these things, because it's just anything possibly you could think of with having like a full life of being able to give back to the world, to be able to learn more and stuff, and just further progress as a person. It's just I think it's all encompassed in those three sentences alone. So yeah, I know in short, it feels really good. And I recommend telling yourself that every day because it's just those three sentences are amazing.
Yeah. Do you use any other affirmations like that? Any other like things to empower yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, one of my favorite sayings of all time is good, better, best. Good, better, best. Never let it rest until the good is better and the better is best.
Wow.
Because it just keep going further improving. Like there's always something to improve on, and it's not even in a negative way. It's just being able to make something better. Like what you have is good and it can be best and then or better and then it can be best too.
Oh.
But yeah, do you have any sayings?
Oh heck yeah. In front of me I have or I'll show you. So I have Mark 9:23, which is
Mm-hmm.
Mark 9:23 is my birthday. And it
Oh,
says, yeah. So Jesus said to him, if you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. And I have this like New Mexico license plate that my friend got me.
oh
Just like literally.
nice. That's awesome.
So that's one that I'm like looking at all day is just reminding myself how powerful beliefs are, which is like when we say these things and we program them into ourselves, it becomes a belief. It becomes like the new programming. And then that's reminding me like all things are possible. So what are you going to like choose to believe? Like what beliefs do you have about yourself? Like, do you believe that you can like do the best and make things better? And it's because it's just so important to tell yourself these things. And then another one that I always say, like, I mean, I always like thank God throughout my day that I woke up, that I'm breathing right now, that like I'm able to like I have a healthy body, that just like everything, like being grateful. So I'll say like, oh, like thank you God that I can breathe, that I can see, that I have like hands and fingers and stuff. And then what else? I always say, I am blessed and highly favored. I um I always do my best. I'm in a state of zen, ready to give the performance of my life. I um I attract the hottest woman in the world. That was one of my favorites.
Nice.
The universe conspires in my favor. So yeah, I got like a bunch of these like floating around in my head, and then I'll like say them or sing them throughout my day.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a cool way to be able to like fully like reinstate like the positivity and stuff. And also too, like with you saying those so much, it's awesome how that like kind of becomes a part of your being too. Like that's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, it feels like you're just like you're developing your character, like in a video game or in Dungeons and Dragons or in like this realm where like
Mm-hmm.
so it's yeah, you can like actually choose like the character that you develop.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all based in like your choices and like thought processes with it too and stuff. So yeah, that's awesome. Never thought about that. Life is D&D apparently.
It is. No, Life is Oblivion and Skyrim. Did you ever play those?
Yeah. Stop. You have violated the law.
Oh no. Like,
I love the Skyrim glitches. Those are so good.
the glitches. What are Skyrim glitches?
Like, oh man, like there's like with people like with clipping through like the mountains or like having characters just like rotating infinitely too in the
Yeah.
or oh when they're shot in the air too, like there's just so many things, especially when people mess with the game codes and stuff, because I have friends that like to do coding in games and stuff, and he's done a lot of different mods with like his Skyrim and stuff or like with other games, and he's just does crazy things like shoot them in the sky or infinite health or something
Yeah.
wild.
Just like flinging bodies. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think about life like a role-playing game. Like we have these certain skills and you can like choose how to play the game and choose like which skills you fill up with experience, and then that'll like show you like brand new abilities that are there. It's like I see life in skill trees. Like I see life like the just like how everything like webs out, like the more you progress, like the more the abilities grow.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I mean, a big thing too is just life isn't linear.
Yeah, life isn't linear.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, do you
Yeah.
read books?
Yes.
What
I
kind of book?
definitely. I've been reading more like philosophy books recently. Like, what's funny though is I'm a very slow reader with it because it's like a lot to digest. I've been reading a lot of like the Treatise of Human Nature by David Hume, which is pretty cool.
Cool, the Treatise of Human Nature.
Yeah. Let me see. Where do I have it
Oh yeah.
nearby? Like where is it, because like it's a cool big book that like could potentially I don't know, could be doubled as a weapon. Here it is. Like yeah, it's one of these big old boys.
Okay,
That's
cool.
actually really cool.
The Treatise of Human Nature, David Hume.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What why are you into that one? Like what's cool about it?
Because like one of the, at least the part I'm in is or like reading at this point is about like where the justice system came from and stuff, and like how that was over time established, like basically before there was like right now, you know how we have like courthouses or like a jury deciding things too based upon like evidence and stuff presented. Before it used to be vigilante justice, which is really interesting.
Like
Basically
Batman?
like yeah, exactly, Batman. And then eventually it was like the philosophy of like, well, who determines whether what is right or wrong with this? Is it supposed to be the individual or what's better with the collective and stuff of the community too? So it's like with how like rules or laws are like instated and stuff, and where it all came from and stuff. And it's like interesting to see how that all progressed in history.
Cool. So it teaches like the or it gives how the justice system was developed and how
Yeah.
it's like so it used to be a vigilante system and then it
Mm-hmm.
evolved into something more like systematic, like
Yeah,
more
it's
like
like it became more structured kind of thing, or like
uh,
developed with more like rules kind of thing. I know it's like one section because there's a lot of different topics covered in that giant book itself, but at least
yeah.
yeah, with that
Uh,
section it was just
so
the
why
history on.
like why are you reading that? Like is that appealing to you?
Yeah, it's like I know it sounds like super boring, but actually I just think it's really cool to learn about like the reasonings behind how things came to be basically.
Yeah.
So that, or also then other than that, I like being able to read like fantasy novels too, because it's cool being able to be immersed in that kind of world. But lately I've been like, I think it's cool to think about, we think these things, but why do we think about these things? So I guess it's kind of like almost like, how we talked about in the beginning. Oh, hey, full circle moment. How we're talking about like a simulation. I kind of think about that, thinking of a thinking in that thought. Where did it come from, kind of thing.
Thinking in a thinking in that thought, thinking in that
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. Thinking in the thought. Why do we have that thought and stuff like that too? So it's like
Mm,
all those interesting odd patterns and
yeah.
word phrases.
Yeah, when you just like depending on the way that the phrase is structured, it creates a whole new dimension to like the meaning behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so cool. Have you been reading any good books recently?
Oh heck yeah. I got the Bible in front of me, so that's been pretty freaking awesome. And
Cool.
then I got I've been reading this one called The 48 Laws of Power.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's by this dude named Robert Greene, and basically it talks about just like these laws that are powerful that like
Oh,
happen
wow.
in society, and he gives like examples throughout history of like how this law um like I'm trying to think of an example. Like one is like never appear too perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's important to like show certain imperfections so people
Mm-hmm.
don't get envious or jealous, or like it's like
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And then another one is play to people's fantasies, like kind of like Walt Disney, like create what people are fantasizing in their mind or in their imagination and like give it to them in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of them are like really dark. Like there's one like how to attract a cult like following. And
Oh, wow.
so anyways, yeah, that book's like pretty cool. I like
Yeah,
it.
it's cool how they show, or it sounds like it has so many different dimensions too on like thinking, and also too how human nature can potentially play a role in this too
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
definitely. It gives a lot of, yeah, definitely like understanding human nature,
Mm-hmm.
because you can like predict like certain patterns that one might take depending on like how you kind of like martial arts, like you make a move to make them make a move, and then that's really what you wanted them to do and not the first thing. It's like
Yeah.
something like that, like
Yeah. It's all a dance.
yeah, it's true.
Mhm.
Understanding the
Wow.
way that people dance and like playing to that.
Definitely. Wow. That's really cool. So, what's the book you're reading by again, and what was the name of it?
It's called 48 Laws of Power.
I can get my pen to work. There we go.
Oh, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
The author's name is Robert Greene. He's pretty
Nice.
cool. I really love the Japanese examples that he gives. It just
Mm.
like paints such like beautiful scenes in my head. He gives
Wow.
like examples of this he was like a master like tea ceremony dude,
Mhm.
and he would say something like he would see something about a person's estate or a person's like dwelling and be able to tell the way their tea ceremony would play out, or he would see something in the tea ceremony and it would reveal something about their character and cause him like not to trust them, or like who to like I don't know, it's really interesting, like the just the example that's floating in my head right now.
Oh wow, that's awesome. It's like, would it be like the subtleties of like maybe gestures or how they said things, or
Yeah,
like, wow, that's
yeah,
so
exactly.
interesting.
Like I think one example that I remember is how you make something look effortless. And
Mm-hmm.
it started snowing one time, and he wanted a clear path for his guest the next day. So they
Mm-hmm.
went out and placed pillows in along the stone path. So they put pillows on the stones. So overnight, after after it stopped snowing and before the guest arrived, they went and like grabbed the pillows. So there was just this like beautiful snowy path. And it's kind of like no one mentioned it, but just like having that elegant touch, it
Mm-hmm.
makes all the difference. Like it's way before the tea ceremony. It's when they're arriving. But already they have like this impact and this collaboration with nature happening.
Oh wow, that's really cool. I would never thought about that. That's awesome that they created that contrast and so to be able to achieve a specific like look or goal with presenting the ceremony. Wow, that's really
Yeah,
cool.
I think that's also part of like improvisation. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
I'm sure they didn't plan on it snowing, but they played with it and played it to their advantage.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's so cool because yeah, it's just so important to be able to like yeah adapt with what you have and just work with what you got, right?
Yeah, seriously, being like resourceful and yeah, I like adding the magic to life.
Yeah, that's so
But
cool. Wow.
yeah, what other kinds of do you just like read one book at a time? Because I kind of like pick up like five and like bounce between all of them. Like,
It's funny. Like, yeah, I'm usually like starting multiple books. Sometimes, like, I don't know what else have I been going. Because like reading a lot more like with the other than philosophy books. I think I was also reading again Frankenstein. So it's like I like a lot of classic literature and stuff, but
cool.
I get very distractible. So like I probably won't revisit it for a little while, and then I come back later to it and stuff. But
Frankenstein.
yeah, um,
You
I
said
lost my
Frank.
train of thought for a second. Sorry.
Oh, good. No, it's fine. We don't need trains. You can think.
Cool.
I have a okay. It's just talking about like trains and thoughts. Like,
Hmm. Transition time.
I had a
Mhm.
dream where I was riding a scooter
Mhm.
and the I I thought like, dang, I would be going so much faster if this scooter turned into a motorcycle. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden the scooter turned into a motorcycle like between my legs and I started like riding and going faster and it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm in a dream. And so like it brought like awareness to my dream.
Oh, that's so cool. Were you able to have
Yeah.
more control over it then and stuff?
Yeah, after that I was like, okay, I want to go like visit my friends at on campus at Cal Lutheran. After I had that thought, I kind of like swirled up in the air with the motorcycle like Hagrid and then like landed on one of the buildings.
Oh man, that's amazing. Dang, that's awesome. Sounds
Yeah,
like one of those awesome fantasy dreams that you just want to be able to like continue out and like even if your alarm clock goes off, be like, no, I want to sleep and keep finishing this plot here.
right. Yeah. Oh, that used to be a problem with me. I used to like want to escape reality in my dreams. Are you into
Mhm.
dreams?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I enjoy like fantastical, like absurd dreams where it's just like fun plots going on. Basically, I'm
Can
like I wake up and I'm like, wow, that was amazing. Especially too, it's the best when like you can also to remember them too.
yeah. Are
Mhm.
your dreams like super fantastical like that or are they like very like different?
It's funny. It's definitely it's like roulette or something because like some nights like I won't remember any of my dreams in the morning or if any of them like happened and stuff. But then like the next time I'm like, oh, I can remember three dreams I had that were in this like montage of like a story going on and stuff. But yeah,
Are your
it's
dreams
like kind of
colorful?
I'd say so. Like they're usually pretty vivid and stuff. But yeah. But not too eye straining because like too much brightness or like craziness going on might be a little too much. But like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Are yours vivid?
Sometimes. I think
Mhm.
it's often like the feelings are vivid and like the atmospheres. Not so much
Mhm.
like I mean sometimes like the details are super clear, but
Mhm.
there's definitely like a wide variety in my case. Like sometimes they're super vivid. I think like part of it is like catching them early enough, like after waking up, and then
Oh
like
yeah, definitely. Because there's always like that period right before you're gonna like forget it all and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you keep a dream
It's-
journal?
I don't. I it's one of those things I'm like, I should, but I always forget. Do you have one?
I don't have like a dream journal, but I definitely write down my dreams when they're impactful or when I feel like there's a message for me in them.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. So then basically if you put those all together, then it would create a journal, right?
Yeah, it's a journal, but not a dream journal.
Oh,
There's
cool.
there's dreams in my journal.
Oh, that's so cool.
Do
That's
you
awesome.
can you control your dreams?
Sometimes, like basically it's like how you became like self-aware that you're in a dream and stuff. Like it's usually I have to get to that point and stuff, and then I can. I don't know what happened to one of them, but one of them when I became self-aware and then I wasn't able to change it. So I'm like, wait, am I telling myself this because I don't want to change the dream? Or is it that I want to have a sense of not being able to change it? So then is that also becoming, I guess, I forgot what that's called again, like not introspective with it, but self-aware or something. I don't know, some kind of inception going on.
Yeah. Like do you have like lucid dreams?
Yes. Especially if like you're just like asleep for like 20 minutes or so, or at least like during like a nap or something, definitely. It's like those half awake dreams and stuff.
Do you ever feel like we get messages in our dreams? Like there's like these like we're telling ourselves something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh
Does that
yeah,
happen to you?
definitely. Like through the symbolism, imagery, or even sometimes with someone in your dream just straight up telling you something. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I love dreams. I love talking about dreams.
I know, right? They're fun because it's either like, oh yes, I will artistically and symbolically through what you're thinking tell this to you yourself as yourself, and then sometimes it's just like it's obviously this. I am saying it to you. There is no interpretation, and I'm just like, oh, okay, well, thank you for being so clear with that. Those don't happen. I would say it's more usually abstract and artsy because that's kind of like usually how dreams are. Is like they're kind of like an enigma that you don't always like realize till like later. You're like, oh hey, yeah, that does make sense with like what it's trying to say there.
I'm trying to think of a trippy dream that I can tell you. I feel like I tell a lot of dream stories, but I like have told them before on this podcast. Do you have any like interesting dreams?
Huh. I don't know, but it's like, oh, and by the way, sorry if like you hear any background noise. The wall across from mine is my brother.
Oh, it's
He's
all
gaming
good.
right now.
Oh, I understand. He's
Yeah, PC gaming.
or
But yeah.
actually, do you want to keep going? I mean, we can go as long as you want. I'm enjoying this, but we can wrap it up if you want also.
Oh yeah, I'm totally good with the one thing I will say is actually my device might be dying in a little bit. I
Oh,
kind of got the 10% warning, so I was
okay.
actually about to be like, maybe I should just let you know that I'm
All
like, I
right.
did not just like drop off the face of the earth for a second.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Of course.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a dream. Can you think of any?
Trying to think because like I know I had a dream where basically like it was like sailing somewhere or something, and there was like battling the like or like other like absurd things like oh I had to get a surgery and like I need to find a pericardium like something like weird like that like if I was thinking medical stuff or something.
Hmm.
Trying to think it's like I don't know it's like sometimes too do you ever have those dreams where it's like you know the action that was going on but it's like so absurd or so abstract that it's like I don't know exactly how to put that into words.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's but at the same time there's like a just an interesting feeling associated with it. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
yeah, like abstract is the word there. It's
Hmm.
like it's like formless, but you
Yeah.
know that it's like I don't know, like
Yeah, it
it's
was like
something
meaningful
there.
in some way, or it was just like, wow, that was so amazing that words can't describe it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Words can't describe it. Have you ever had an out of body experience?
Yeah,
What?
self kind of thing, like whether it be like from like meditation or just kind of like I don't know how to think in that space. That's also another thing, at least for me, that's like non-verbal kind of thing, or like a hard to put into words kind of thing. But yeah, it's been a little while since I've had that happen, but it has happened about once or twice. But yeah, how about you?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I've like dreamt. I think I've dreamt it happening, but I've never like left my body, or at least
Yeah, it wasn't to
remember
the
that I
point where it
have.
like felt like I was dying or something. It was just more of like wait, why can I see myself? And then I like wake up for a moment, but like it wasn't like I was dying or anything. It was just more of the like I think it's like a different kind of self awareness that could happen.
Yeah, a different kind of self awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Like
But yeah,
a heightened perspective.
yeah.
I think this is a good spot to end the podcast, because otherwise I'd want to like dive super deep into this.
And right, and it'll be the all night podcast, right? Because it's always such an amazing topic. But yeah, for sure. Well,
Heck
thank you
yeah.
so much for having me, and it's been awesome to reconnect.
Oh yeah, definitely. This was very like mentally stimulating. I really enjoyed this. It's freaking awesome.
Awesome, yeah. Me too. Well, I hope you have a great night, and thanks again.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on again.
Thank you. All right, talk to you soon.
Bye.